I've played hockey almost my entire life, but it's always been something that I've kind of just done to stay in shape, and I never took it too seriously. But like many people, I really wanted to be in my high school's varsity team, and I felt like by junior year I was ready to play at that level. And I remember going to tryouts. I was extremely excited and extremely confident, and I thought I tried out fairly well. But then on the last day of tryouts, when the coach put up the list, my name was not there. And I think that's a feeling that many of us have experienced in one way or another. But I thought, this is fine. I'll just play on JV, and I'll prove myself, and by the end of the year, I'll secure a spot on varsity. But after talking to the coach, he told me that I wasn't skilled enough to play on the JV team either. And this came as quite a shock to me. So I decided instead to play on a select team that year. And I had an amazing coach who was probably the first coach I've ever had to tell me that I had the skill level to do whatever I wanted with hockey and to go as far as I wanted. So he really boosted my confidence, and I ended up being the leading scorer on his team and won a championship. So after this successful year, I decided to try out for varsity again my senior year, and I actually ended up making the team, and we won a state championship. So I can't thank Coach White enough for helping me believe in myself and making me realize that if I want something, I can't take no for an answer. And I'm aware that I look hilarious with blonde hair.
Wandering through the cold streets without direction, we were helplessly looking for something to do. We stood in a circle, sharing our boredom with one another, only because it felt better than being alone. "Hey, let's do slam poetry," someone suggested. "Hell no," was my reaction. "That's stupid." Fear. Who would care? I can't do poetry. But they egged me on. "Oh, come on, just do it." My eyes cast down. "My shoes," I started. My poem was awful. We all laughed. Warmth. We went around in a circle. The poems grew. They became wilder, funnier. They became more personal. We screamed until our voices gave out. We banged our fists, and we stomped our feet. We were no longer wandering. My fear was replaced with the warmth of our friendship.
Going into junior year, I never understood how so many of my peers already seemed to have their futures planned out. My friends had their majors picked, as well as visits to their favorite schools already scheduled for the fall. I couldn't fathom thinking that far ahead. I was more focused on who we would be playing our homecoming football game against, and maybe who I would be taking to junior prom. Aside from that, I had no real expectations for the future because it was so hard to imagine my life 5 to 10 years from that moment. Taking just one business class the year before, I told everyone that I wanted to be a business major. It's the best way of appeasing all the relatives at family parties who wouldn't stop asking about what I wanted to do. I had no real major in mind, and I definitely didn't know where I wanted to go to school. I wasn't a bad student at all. I just had no real passion for one thing I wanted to do for the rest of my life. This was all true as I walked into physics class on the first day of junior year with Mr. Newton, which is a great name for any physics teacher to have. On the very first day, he challenged us by saying this was probably going to be the most hated class we would take in all of high school. He was right. After the first week of calculating the speed of different roller coasters after a loop and seeing just how much force it would take to kill you in a car accident, I thought to myself that maybe being a business major was the right idea. This is what I believed until after we got our very first lab grades back. I got a 75 on my first lab report, which is hardly something to consider changing a career path on, but it was what he told me after class that really changed my life today. He told me I was thinking and writing like an engineer, and if I put just a little more work in, I could have a real future in the field. I have no idea why his words resonated so much with me that day, but from then on, I was more focused than ever on my future. I finally felt like I found something I was good at and wanted to do for the rest of my life. His influence on my life didn't seem to stop at the end of that year. It was his encouragement that literally led me to where I am today because he was once a student at Penn State. His stories about his time here at Penn State made me put it at the top of my college list. He told me about all the great people I would meet here and how once the goalposts were taken from Beaver Stadium after a big upset and marched down College Ave. After I came for a visit, I knew I found my future here at Penn State, which was all dictated by that one class junior year.
Searching. 12 years behind a school desk had left us yearning. Before another 4 years of higher education and the promised life that lay beyond, we attempted instead to explore, experience, taste as much of the world as we could. So we packed our bags, external packs, cameras, hoodies, and towels, everything that we had hoped could be checked, portered, and crammed into crowded night trains and cheap last-minute flights, as we set out to see the wonders of the old world. Falling. Together we floated through musty bar rooms, explored sandstone castles, wandered under the monuments of old regimes, and lost ourselves in bright rainbow bazaars. Together we together saw beauty, grew closer, weathered hardship and trial, grew apart, grew tired of each other, always growing, but we fell forwards together. And then one night something happened. In the beach district, sitting midway through our trip, my pocket was picked. Immediate fear and panic washed over me as I found that I could hardly comprehend what had just happened. The look on my face told him what had just happened. He took off after the thief, and I behind him. He was willing to put himself in danger to save the paper in my wallet. In that act, I knew he was defending me, strengthening our bond. In that chase, we found what we had searched for. We fell forwards into the future, together as friends. It's crazy to think how one person,
A coach.
Friends.
A teacher.
can influence and change your plans for the future and make you view the world in a completely different way.